Hey guys. Okay. Less professional log, but whatever. Um, I may or may not add some music in the background to this afterwards, but I'm not gonna worry about it right now. I just wanted to make this video because it's 2018, and well, a 2017 recap I felt would be interesting. We'll go with interesting because that's about all I got. Um, Before we go into this, I want to warn everyone because 2017 was not a good year for me. Um, I didn't include it in the script that I wrote, but I should be stating that I did get pretty far with YouTube in comparison to everything else that I've done with YouTube in this past in 2017 in comparison to the rest of the time I've been doing YouTube. So if there is one golden thing that happened in 2017, I guess it's that. But anyway, I'll start reading, I suppose. So I figured I should attempt to write one of these, so I guess here we go. My 2017 year wrapped up into one video. This will probably be ranty and decently long, but I suppose that's the whole point. We'll start off with the beginning of the year. It was pretty rough. A rough start to everything. My girlfriend's cousin died pretty early into the year within the first month. And during that time, we were moving out of her parents and into this apartment complex with a friend that we met in college. Everything seemed decent, of course, before all that. But, you know, the apartment life was good at first, but everything quickly went downhill once we realized that our roommate was a real piece of work. I won't give out a name or go overly into detail, but I will state I hate their guts, and it takes a lot for me to genuinely hate a person or anything about them. They were controlling, overly rude, all about themselves, and on multiple occasions made Megan go into our bedroom and cry. We never left our own room aside from to cook or go to the bathroom because we were afraid of getting yelled at by her, or blamed for something, or having her act condescending towards us in any way. I hated it. During this time, I was the only one with a job, as Megan had been laid off from her contract programming work, and that didn't really make any of it better for me. Flash forward a few months, and my grandfather is taken to the hospital after having his third stroke. At first, no one told me anything, and I thought he died, but he was still alive. Just a vegetable. I went and I saw him, and he couldn't even look at me. Someone who I had used to think was so strong and stubborn had lost everything that made him who he was. Without the brain, we're nothing. Give it a few days, and he recovers slightly. He can look, not really speak, but at least he can understand with us and motion for things. I go and see him again, and talk to him for a bit. He cannot move most of the right side of his body, and it bothers him greatly. Little X, or like little insert from when I wrote it. I'm shaking while writing the script, goddammit. He looks at me, or he looks over at me every now and then, with wide eyes, as if he was surprised that I had came. When I said goodbye that day, I had a lot of hope that he would get better, that this was the start to something good again, that I could tell him everything I had wanted to, that he would see his great grandkids someday, whenever I have them, as that was the promise I had asked him to keep not a year before. The last thing I remember was him looking up at me and smiling with a thumbs up. I never went back. Had too much going on with work and trying to find free time. He passed a week or so later, and I felt nothing but utter agony. This was someone who I had loved dearly, someone who I had looked up to my whole life. I visited him almost every weekend when I was younger, and then in high school I moved in with him and my dad for 4 years. My fondest memories of him, or with him, always play in my head. Him and I played Spore, or he and I, sorry, that's grammatical error on my part. I'm going to revise that in the script. Boop. He and I played Spore when I was younger, and he made this weird bipedal creature that had long arms, funny accessories, and these huge nipples. And he had a blast. I remember that he had a lot of trouble after the creature phase and asked me to play the Civ and space phases for him. He loved the space one, though, and he played a lot of it as well, mostly needing my help just to get to the center of the universe and fight the Groks. He was the one who taught me to love computers as well. Without him, I may never have gotten into computer gaming or building. Without him, I may have never gone to that computer programming class. And I may not have ever met Megan. So every time I go to my computer, I remember that. And it's tough. I didn't see him pass. I didn't want to. I couldn't. I looked up to him too much to go see him lifeless. He was too strong in my mind to see that. To add icing to the cake, that entire side of my family betrayed my dad and I, and took the house from us, my teenage home, the only place I had ever called home before I had moved out and with Megan. It was gone. They started to renovate it so they could sell it and pay for his hospital bills. And then, I guess, from what I've heard, they sold it to my cousin. Which makes no sense to me, but, whatever. That was a place, this isn't in the script, by the way, so I'm going to ramble a tiny bit, I think. That was a place where the longest period of my life, which was high school, it felt like, at least. I'm not going to say it's the longest period of my life, but in terms of how it felt, it feels like I spent the most time of my life in that place. And I had a lot of problems there, my depression, high school being stupid. But I could always go back to that place and call it home. That place was the best, honestly. I loved it. But now it's gone. Anyway, on with the script, I suppose. Another thing they did when I was still living there, they tried to kick my dad and I out, saying that we were holding my grandfather back and that he'd be more outgoing and active if we didn't force him to stay in his room all the time. Quick fact, away from the script, my grandfather, after my grandmother passed, he became kind of seclusive, and he still tried every now and then, but after his first stroke, he mostly just spent time in his room, using this audio reader so that he could listen to books because he couldn't read anymore, and that's something he loved to do. Anyway, back to the script. So they came over and cleaned the place out, and at that time they took my entire setup, all, like my computer, my microphone, my monitors, and they just threw it into boxes, literally throwing my computer into the box in front of me. They kicked out his two cats, also, saying that, they were born to be wild animals, so they'd be fine. One of them never came back. I managed to find the other one a week or so later. Her name was Iggy, and I brought her back in. She never liked people. In fact, she was the scariest fucking animal. She's just terrified of everything, right? And even my grandfather, my dad, she kept her distance. She liked us. She got food from us. We pet her maybe once a week. But she never liked really being around people. But after that day when I found her and brought her back in, she never left my side. Until after I moved out, a few years later, and my mom had to move in with the other cats. Iggy was sent away to my aunt, the one who kicked her out the first time, and I haven't heard anything since, so I assume she's dead. After getting kicked out, my dad and my mom and my sister moved in with my mom and the cats, obviously. Probably not obviously, but something I should state. And they had to relocate to my grandmother's house on my mom's side because my grandmother on my dad's side has been dead since I was like 10. And they have to live in a camper in the front yard. Along with them, my 7 cats, they went as well, thankfully. They were kept because I'd grown up with them and I've known them for so fucking long. I love those things. things, like animals. Sorry, I'm not thinking properly. Love those guys, the cats. They're also my family. Anyway, during this time, Megan and I moved back into her parents' trailer and took it over as they moved down south. Not super down south, just a few states away. One state away, something like that. We let one of my childhood friends move in with us as well. I kept my retail job the whole time, but Megan got an amazing programming job at a health company, so I was allowed to do YouTube pretty much full time, which you guys have seen, until my hours picked up for the holiday time, but we remember that because it wasn't too long ago. I attempted to get partnered, but a mistake from my past has made it hard, and I am currently still waiting to hear back from YouTube on that regard. And now it's 2018. Right? Sorry, I'm clicking in the background. My bad. And I have no clue what to expect. 2017 was rough for me. And there were many times I wasn't sure I could move on from anything and just continue on at all. But I made it. So there's that. The only thing I can hope for in 2018 is a decent amount of good. I don't ask for a lot, but something decent would be nice. I'm happy that people around me are happy. I wish not to be selfish, but it'd be cool if I could get partnered or something. As for my 2018 goals, I don't have a whole lot. Getting over 1,000 subs would be cool. I'd like to be officially partnered, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get some medication for my depression, which I've had for, over 10 years. Yeah, I've had depression since I was like 10 years old. Surprising, right? But yeah, that's that, I suppose. Longer than I wanted, but not as long as I thought it would be. So at least there's that. So, yeah. That's my 2017 year. It should be noted as well that I played a lot of really good games. I didn't include that in the script, but there are a lot of cool games that I played. And I'm pretty glad. I'm really glad that I've gotten to do this full time. It may not pay me. I may not be super popular on YouTube, but this is one of the few things that I have in life that keep me going. So that's that, I suppose. Thanks for everything, guys. Sorry for a more feelsy log. I know it's not the best, but I figured you guys should know how my year went, and it wasn't too easy on me, so yeah. Let's hope 2018's better, I suppose. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. And let me know how your years went. I'd like to know. Hopefully you guys had happier years than I did. Or a happier last year than I did. The way I was phrasing that was strange. Anyway. Peace out, guys. Let's hope for a good 2018, huh?